In the world of steel, horsepower, and rugged capability, the pickup truck stands as a symbol of strength. They build our cities, explore our wildlands, and carry our families. But what happens when that symbol of strength becomes a rolling coffin? What happens when the engineers who design them and the corporations that sell them make choices that turn a trusted workhorse into a ticking time bomb? Some pickup trucks were so fundamentally flawed, so dangerously conceived, that they literally hunted their own drivers. This isn't an exaggeration. From fuel tanks that detonated like bombs and minor fender benders, to frames that silently rotted from the inside out until they snapped in two on the highway, these are the stories of automotive negligence at its most lethal. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the most terrifyingly engineered pickup trucks that automakers are desperate for you to forget. These aren't just trucks with a few quirks. These are certified death traps. Number 1. Dodge Ram 2,500 over 3,500. Diesel 2021 to 2023. You'd think that in the modern era of computer-aided design, the problem of trucks spontaneously combusting would be a thing of the past. You would be wrong. Between 2021 and 2023, owners of brand new Ram heavy-duty diesel trucks discovered their expensive vehicles had an alarming habit: catching fire without warning. The culprit was a small but critical component, the intake heater grid relay. In diesel trucks, this device helps warm the air for easier cold starts. In these specific Rams, however, the relay could short-circuit and overheat, melting its plastic housing and igniting a fire in the engine bay. The truly terrifying part is that this could happen when the truck was turned off and parked. Owners would park their $70,000 truck in their garage, go to bed, and wake up to the sound of smoke alarms as their house burned down around them. After numerous reports, Ram's parent company, Stellantis, was forced to recall over 300,000 trucks. Their initial jaw-dropping solution before a proper fix was available: they issued a formal notice telling owners not to park their trucks indoors. Their official advice was to ensure the truck only burns down your driveway, not your home. One owner on a diesel forum posted a photo of his partially melted relay with the chilling caption, "Found this 5 minutes before leaving for a 2,000-mile road trip with my family." It's a sobering reminder that even in the 21st century, a simple component can turn the latest truck into an incendiary device. Number 2. International CXT. In 2004, Navistar International, a company known for building semi-trucks, gazed upon the consumer pickup market and had a thought: amateur. Their solution was the Commercial Extreme Truck, or CXT. With its creation, common sense officially left the building. The CXT was not a pickup truck. It was a municipal disaster vehicle masquerading as one. Built on a platform designed for snowplows, this thing was a behemoth. It stood 9 feet tall and weighed a staggering 14,500 pounds, empty, heavier than 3 family sedans. The hood was so high that a regular car stopped in front of you would be completely invisible. International's official solution to this massive, lethal blind spot? A line in the owner's manual that advised drivers to be extra careful. To stop its immense mass, the CXT required commercial-grade air brakes, which meant that in many states, you legally needed a commercial driver's license just to drive it. Parking was a laughable impossibility, but the true terror of the CXT was putting an average driver behind the wheel of a vehicle with the destructive potential of a battering ram. It had no modern safety features. No airbags, no crumple zones, no stability control. In a collision with a normal passenger car, police reports often describe the other vehicle as simply unrecoverable. Marketed as the ultimate pickup for around $100,000, its ultimate capability was the accidental annihilation of everything in its path. Number 3. Dodge Dakota Convertible. Picture the scene. It's 1,989. Dodge executives are trying to inject fun into their pickup lineup. Someone suggests, "Hey, what if we just cut the roof off?" And somehow, this was hailed as a brilliant idea. Thus, the Dodge Dakota Convertible was born, and the laws of physics collectively pointed and laughed. A pickup truck's roof and pillars are not just there to keep the rain out. They are critical stress-bearing members that give the frame its rigidity. Dodge decided to remove them. The result was a truck with the structural backbone of a wet noodle. Every time it hit a bump, the entire vehicle would visibly flex. Owners reported that on rough roads, the frame would twist so severely that the door jambs would misalign, trapping them inside. The convertible top itself was a manual affair requiring 2 people and about 15 minutes to operate. Get caught in a sudden downpour? Too bad. By the time you wrestled the clumsy top into place, the cabin was already soaked. And even when up, the constant frame flex meant it was impossible to seal properly. The Dakota convertible remains the only factory-produced convertible pickup ever sold in America, serving as a permanent monument to a terrible idea. Number 4. Reliant Ant. The 1,960 seconds gave us some truly bizarre automotive designs, but few were as dangerously flawed as the Reliant Ant. Hailing from Britain, this pickup was built on a simple premise. It had 3 wheels. 1 at the front, 2 at the back. What could possibly go wrong? As it turns out, everything. With its single front wheel, the Ant had all the stability of a bar stool on a bowling ball. Its center of gravity was perilously high. Taking a turn at anything faster than a brisk walk would cause the inside rear wheel to lift clean off the pavement. A slightly sharper turn, and the whole contraption would simply tip over. Here's where the design becomes insane. This was designed as a work vehicle. Adding any weight to the truck bed raised the center of gravity even higher, making it exponentially more unstable. Its signature move was something drivers called reversing terror. Because of the single front steering wheel, backing up with any steering input would cause the rear end to swing around wildly and unpredictably. One British safety inspector described watching an Ant attempt to reverse as witnessing someone trying to control a runaway shopping cart filled with live grenades. Its only reason for existence was a tax loophole. In Britain, 3-wheeled vehicles were taxed as motorcycles, making them cheaper. Reliant saved its buyers a few pounds on taxes, and in exchange, cost them years off their lives in sheer terror. Number 5. Chevrolet El Camino SS 454. Our list includes a vehicle that blurred the lines between car and truck, creating a masterpiece of reckless abandon. The 1970 Chevrolet El Camino SS 454. At the peak of the muscle car era, Chevrolet's engineers shoehorned in the LS6 454 big block V8 engine. This was a 7.4-liter monster, a barely tamed race engine churning out a colossal 450 horsepower. This truck had more raw power than many dedicated race cars of its time. The acceleration was biblical. 0 to 60 miles per hour vanished in under 6 seconds. But here's the catastrophic flaw. While Chevrolet gave the El Camino the heart of a champion, they forgot to upgrade its skeleton. It still used the same basic brakes and suspension as a regular Chevrolet Chevelle station wagon. You had the power to outrun anything, but the stopping power of a child's tricycle. The weight distribution was an engineering nightmare. With an empty bed, the immense torque would break the tires loose with a gentle prod of the throttle, even at highway speeds. Experienced drivers coined a term for its terrifying handling under hard acceleration, the death wiggle. The raw power would overwhelm the chassis, causing the rear axle to literally hop sideways. Insurance companies caught on immediately, and by 1971, the premiums to insure an SS 454 skyrocketed. It was produced for just 1 year, living proof that there is, most definitely, such a thing as too much power. Number 6. Nissan Titan, first generation. When Nissan launched its first full-size pickup, the Titan, in 2004, it was meant to be a shot across the bow of the American Big Three. It was ambitious, powerful, and a catastrophic failure, plagued by a horrifying list of systemic problems. The nightmare often started at the rear axle. Its differential had a fatal flaw. Its axle seals would prematurely fail, allowing gear oil to leak out. With no lubrication, the metal gears would grind themselves into oblivion, culminating in a spectacular bang as the differential would grenade itself, sometimes locking the rear wheels solid at 70 miles per hour. But that was just the opening act. The plastic end tanks on the radiators were prone to cracking, allowing coolant to mix with the transmission fluid. This created a toxic sludge that destroyed the transmission, leading to repair bills over $5,000. Then came the exhaust manifolds, which would crack and leak hot exhaust fumes into the cabin. To top it off, the brakes were woefully undersized, and the truck was infested with electrical gremlins. Fuel gauges would randomly drop to empty, and entire electrical systems would shut down without warning. The first-generation Titan wasn't just unreliable, it was actively dangerous. Number 7. Ford F-250 with 6 liters Powerstroke diesel. For decades, Ford's diesel Super Duty trucks were kings of the worksite. But from 2003 to 2007, Ford released an engine so notoriously unreliable, it nearly destroyed their reputation overnight. It was the 6.0-liter Powerstroke, and it turned heavy-duty F-250 seconds into the most expensive paperweights on the market. The list of its sins is legendary. The EGR cooler was prone to rupturing, dumping coolant into the cylinders. The head gaskets were so weak they would fail under normal conditions, allowing oil and coolant to mix into an engine-destroying milkshake. The fuel injection control module would overheat and die without warning. The high-pressure oil pump could fail spontaneously. But what elevated the 6.0 Power Street Rogue from problematic to truly dangerous was the suddenness of these failures. Imagine towing a 10,000-pound trailer down a steep grade and your engine instantly dies. No warning, just nothing. You lose power steering and power brakes, now trying to control a massive runaway load. Ford's response was denial, blaming everyone but themselves. The engine was so flawed that an entire bulletproofing industry sprang up just to fix its factory defects, with kits costing up to $8,000. Number 8. Toyota Tacoma, divided by Tundra frame rust. Toyota is synonymous with reliability. Their trucks are famous for running forever, but for over a decade, from 1995 to 2010, many Toyota trucks were hiding a dark secret. It was a cancer, eating them away from the inside out. Their frames were rusting until the entire truck would catastrophically break in half. This was a silent, aggressive corrosion that started deep inside the box sections of the frame, hidden from view. Owners often had no idea there was a problem until it was too late. The stories are nightmares. A spare tire suddenly falling off onto the highway. A leaf spring punching straight through the rotted frame. The most terrifying failures occurred while driving. An owner in Ohio reported that while towing his boat on the interstate, his trailer suddenly passed him. The rear section of his Tundra's frame had completely failed. After years of denial, a massive $3.4 billion class action lawsuit forced Toyota to admit the truth. A manufacturing defect had left the frames without proper anti-corrosion coating. The ensuing recall was one of the largest in automotive history. Technicians had to perform full automotive transplants, lifting the entire body, engine, and drivetrain off the old rotten skeleton and placing it onto a brand new frame to fix the catastrophic flaw. Number 9. Chevrolet divided by GMC. C divided by K, side saddle gas tanks. Every vehicle on this list is dangerous. This one is a killer. In 1973, General Motors made a design decision that led to one of the deadliest automotive defects in American history. To increase fuel capacity, they designed their new C divided by K pickups with gas tanks mounted outside the protective frame rails. They were dubbed side saddle tanks. Safety advocates called them rolling bombs. The physics of this design were brutally simple. In a side impact collision, there was nothing to protect the fuel tank. Just a thin sheet of steel between 20 gallons of gasoline and the other vehicle. The tanks would rupture, dousing the crash scene in fuel. The inevitable sparks from metal on metal impact would do the rest. Victims were often burned alive. An estimated 2,000 people died in fiery crashes involving these trucks, a death toll that dwarfs the infamous Ford Pinto scandal. The most criminal part is that GM knew. Internal memos showed their own engineers had warned against the design, but management overruled them. For 20 years, GM denied the problem and fought lawsuits while people died. When the government finally demanded a recall, GM refused. Instead, in a move of stunning corporate cynicism, they offered owners a $1,000 coupon towards the purchase of a new GM vehicle. Their solution to the deaths was a discount on the next product. Number 10. Ford Bronco II. If you were to intentionally design a vehicle designed to roll over, you'd create the Ford Bronco II. It was the perfect combination of catastrophic design choices, a short wheelbase, a narrow track, and an extremely high center of gravity. Ford engineers recognized this recipe for disaster, and company executives told them to release it anyway. The Bronco II's propensity to roll over wasn't a fluke. It was a certainty dictated by physics. It was lower than most compact cars, but about the height of a full-size pickup truck, making it incredibly top-heavy. The danger was so obvious that during pre-production testing, Ford's own test drivers discovered the vehicle would roll over on two wheels during basic emergency maneuvers. They literally stopped performing certain drivability tests because they feared for their lives. Internal Ford documents, uncovered during hundreds of lawsuits, revealed the shocking truth. Engineers begged management to widen the vehicle's stance by just a few inches for major stability improvements. Management refused. It would delay production and cost money. So Ford did something unforgivable. Instead of fixing the vehicle, they changed their testing procedures. If a safety test had a high probability of the Bronco II rolling over, they simply eliminated it from the program. But the real world is not a controlled test track. Bronco IIs began rolling over with alarming frequency in normal driving situations. It is estimated that the Ford Bronco II was responsible for more than 800 deaths. Ford's response was a predictable textbook of denial and victim blaming. They knew it was a death trap. They had the data, and yet they sold it for 6 years. From muscle-bound monsters with no brakes to modern trucks that can wreak havoc while you sleep, these vehicles represent the worst of automotive engineering. They are cautionary tales written in steel, oil, and, tragically, blood. Now, we want to hear from you. The stories of these trucks aren't just statistics, they're personal experiences. Have you, or someone you know, ever owned one of these infamous vehicles? What was it like? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience is a valuable part of this story, and sharing it helps build a stronger, more informed community. If you found this investigation eye-opening, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into automotive history. Thank you so much for watching. Drive safely.